When God created the world out of nothing, he had to produce, he had to invent, he had to create existence. Nothing existed. He had to make things exist. What does it mean that something exists? What does it mean this is? It means it occupies space. To exist means to occupy space. That's the scientific definition. Everything in this universe exists because it takes up space. If it doesn't take up space, it doesn't exist. Even a thought in your head takes up space. That's why when you're thinking, your mind is occupied. An emotion takes up space. Your heart is full. Of course, it's emotional space, which means when you have an emotion, another emotion cannot come into that same space. When you have a thought in your head, you can't have another thought in that same space. You have a book on the shelf, you can't put another book in that place. The book occupies its space. So everything shares the same existence. Water, fire, stones, thoughts, feelings, everything exists by this definition. It occupies space. Another thing about existence is that it has many conditions. To exist, you have many conditions. A person has enough to eat, enough to drink, had a good night's sleep, has a secure home, a roof over his head, has friends, a support system. He has everything. And what does that result in? An existence. In order to exist, you have to eat, you have to drink, you need a house, you need clothing, you need security, you need friends, you need... And when you have all of that, you exist, which means you continue to take up space. Then God gave all existing things a life. The life of fire is not the same as the life of water, although they exist the same way. Life means the effect you have on your surrounding, the contribution you make to the rest of the world. That's life. The contribution of fire, it gives warmth, light, makes things come apart. The life of water, it makes things grow, keeps things cool, and makes things stick together. That's its life. The life of a stone, it gives stability. A house made out of stone is stronger than a house made out of straw, as we all know from non-kosher sources. A human being exists and has a life. Only the human being is conscious of his life. It's not automatic and instinctive, it's conscious. Now, sometimes there's a conflict between my existence and my life. Because some things are better for my existence, not so good for my life. Some things are good for my life, not so good for my existence. For example, the fact that you're all here in this room. If I was here alone, I would have the whole room to myself. And my existence would be rather large. This would be my space. But you come into the room and you destroy it. You ruin my existence. Because, how much existence can you have if you're sharing the space with 100 people? So I hate you. It's not nice what you're doing to my existence. On the other hand, I'm really glad you're here because speaking to an empty room is not a life. So the fact that you're here, my life is better. But the fact that you're here, my existence is ruined. So sometimes existing and living are in conflict. What should I do when they're in conflict? Should I sacrifice my existence or should I sacrifice life? Oh, what kind of question is that? Of course you sacrifice existence. Why? Who needs it? You take up space? That's it? You're going to fight over that? If your spouse needs more space, give it away. Humility in Jewish thinking is never deprecation of life. We never entertain the thought that life is meaningless. God forbid. A moment of life is infinitely precious. The humility is humble your existence. You're proud that you take up space? What is that? You have a right to take up space and then demand all sorts of resources just so that you can continue taking up space? Humble it. Don't do that. It deserves to be humbled. It doesn't have any value. So if you think every song is about you, your existence is out of control. You've spread yourself way too far, and you have to occupy every thought. Every song has to be about you. Rein it in. Too much. In fact, that's what depression is. You see, existing is a little bit depressing by its very nature. It's depressing and it's embarrassing. So, what have you been doing lately? Taking up space. I do it very well. Nobody takes up space like I do. It's embarrassing. Like a lump on the log. And by the way, let's spell it out. What does it mean I take up space? It means you can't come into my space. Get out of my seat. I was here first. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. You know who said that? Cain said that to Abel. There were two human beings in the whole world, and they said, no. It's either me or you. One of us got to go. It's embarrassing. And it's a little depressing because it's so burdensome. Just to exist. You got to eat, you got to sleep. And if you don't eat the right foods, and if you don't drink the right things, and if you don't sleep on your left side, on your right side with your head elevated on a sleep mattress, on an air mattress. Oh God, this is so burdensome. So depression means if you add weight to your existence by worrying about it, by fighting over it, by making it important, you're making it heavier. And at some point, your existence becomes so heavy that you can't carry it anymore. And your very existence crushes you like a ton of bricks. And you can't make a phone call, and you can't get out of bed. And your existence is way too heavy. The solution is live. Put energy into living, not into existing. It's a seesaw. It's an amazing thing. When you put energy into living, you don't need to put so much energy into existing. When you put energy into your existence, you have no energy for life. And that's why it's often very helpful when a person is depressed to simply say to them, stop kvetching. Find somebody who has real problems and help them. And that is so curing. It's good. So in that seesaw, we should always sacrifice the existence in favor of the life. In simple words, existing means I have needs. Life means, do you have any needs? Can I be helpful to you? Existing means my needs. Life means who needs me? What am I needed for? What effect, what contribution can I make outside of myself? The previous Rebbe said, what does love feel like? All the poets have been trying forever to describe love. The Frierdiker Rebbe, the previous Rebbe, said, love is like this. You're walking down the street, burdened with your problems. Heavy, heavy. You're dragging your feet because you got so many problems and they're so heavy. And then, without expecting, you meet somebody you love. Your burdens are not so heavy. Your burdens lighten up. It's fine because you met somebody you love. Life is buoyant. It carries you. Existence is dead weight. You have to carry it. And it gets heavy. So the solution is choose life. This is why people have been asking for 5,000 years, why are we here? See, every human being with a little bit of sensitivity is embarrassed by their own existence. I mean, this is it. I take up space. That's it. There's got to be more to it than that. There must be. I take up space, then I make demands. Give me food, give me this, give me that. I need, I deserve, I have to have. And then what? And then I can take up space. Now, God, this is embarrassing. So every decent human being asks, why are we here? Which in different words is, why do I exist? And we ask that question because existing doesn't justify itself. It doesn't add up to anything. People who are still trying to improve their existence don't get depressed. People whose existence is already fine, now they have to face the question. And so? That's what a midlife crisis is. You're going along, doing fine, you're halfway there, and going to crisis. What is that all about? When you get halfway there, it means that pretty much your existence is going to be what it is. If you hadn't made your first million by now, you're not going to make a million. So your existence kind of stops being a challenge. And then you have to figure out, what's my life? Now I got to get a life. Don't look for gimmicks. Life is happy. Existence is not. You want happiness? Live. You don't have to do anything to make yourself happy. Live. Life is happy. Existence, even if it's really good, is somewhat depressing. Like the bumper sticker, life stinks and then you die. But the mistake is, don't confuse existence with life. The bumper sticker should say, existence stinks. Life never stinks. And that's where we get really confused when instead of asking, why are we here, we ask, what is the purpose of life? Oh, you're confused. The question is, what is the purpose of existence? The answer is life. Life is the answer, not the question. Don't get confused. So what does it mean, I love you, but I don't like you? Oh, it's so obvious. I love you because you're giving me a life. I don't like you because you've ruined my existence. So how do we resolve that? Very simple. Ruin my existence. Go right ahead. I'll be busy living. I'll be busy living. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic, and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there is a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it. We have a Sunday night program for VIPs that you might be interested in. It's informal. It's questions and answers. It's conversation. It's really relaxed. It's really pleasant, enjoyable, informative, and kind of community-like. It's a Sunday night program. There's a Wednesday morning program for the VIPs, and there's a Wednesday night program. All of it just conversation, casual, laid back, unscripted. So join us. Take a look. Click the link below and see which of the three suits you best, and join us for some enjoyable conversation.